Labour's plan to address Britain's asylum crisis is spiralling into a scandal that could redefine its political fortunes. Touted as the answer to the country's broken asylum system, the proposal is already facing accusations of being dangerously unworkable. Councils across the UK are warning of catastrophic consequences as housing shortages reach crisis levels and social housing waiting lists soar. Angela Rayner's ambitious house-building targets, dismissed as fantasy by critics, are adding fuel to the fire. The backlash is palpable. Protests are erupting across the country as asylum seekers and local residents clash over scarce resources. To truly grasp the scale of this unrest, let's take a look at this compelling clip of Syrian asylum protests sweeping the UK. Labour's proposals are coming under fire from every direction as councils reveal the devastating impact of the current asylum crisis on local housing. The data paints a grim picture. In 2024 alone, more than £1.74 billion was spent on temporary accommodation for 117,000 households, a jaw-dropping figure that has left councils teetering on the edge of financial collapse. Critics argue that Labour's plans risk aggravating an already untenable situation. In boroughs like Newham and Brent in London, over 20% of households are on social housing waiting lists, while these same areas host more than 30 asylum seekers per 10,000 residents. Councils like Bolton, Islington and Luton are also buckling under the weight of rising demands. Luton's housing system, for instance, is being pushed to its limits, with local officials warning of an unprecedented housing crisis fueled by a lack of affordable homes and mounting temporary accommodation costs. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner's lofty target of building 2.5 homes every minute has been ridiculed by analysts as wildly unrealistic. A spokesperson for Luton Council laid bare the challenges. Our town faces unprecedented demand for housing, and the disproportionate number of asylum seekers being placed here has strained our temporary accommodation options to breaking point. We are at a tipping point, and without urgent action, the consequences will be dire. In Islington, Councillor John Wolfe highlighted a new and troubling trend. We've seen a sharp rise in refugees presenting as homeless. This is partly because of faster asylum application processing, an improvement in theory, but one that leaves individuals with just 7 days to leave their temporary accommodation. It's created a humanitarian crisis that councils simply can't handle. Meanwhile, Labour Council leader Mohammed Butt in Brent is pushing back against the narrative that asylum seekers are to blame. The real culprits are historic sell-offs under the Right to Buy scheme and mass evictions by private landlords, he argued. Asylum seekers placed in hotels by the Home Office are a symptom, not the cause of our housing crisis. The government must take responsibility for its failures. But critics insist that Labour's proposals will only exacerbate these problems. Government rules limiting the number of asylum seekers in a local authority to 0.5% of the population are already being stretched, and some councils are accusing Labour of playing political games with issues that directly affect the fabric of local communities. The public response has been intense. Social media platforms are flooded with angry debates about whether Labour's approach prioritises asylum seekers over struggling citizens on waiting lists. Protests have erupted in several cities, with residents demanding clarity from their local representatives. "I've been waiting 5 years for social housing," said one frustrated protester in Newham. "Now, they're telling me that we're bringing in more people when we can't even house the ones who are already here. It's a joke." Labour's handling of the crisis is drawing sharp criticism from opposition parties as well. Richard Tice of Reform UK slammed the plans during an appearance on GB News, warning that they could lead to civil unrest on an unprecedented scale. He argued, "The asylum crisis is a result of years of mismanagement, but Labour's so-called solution is just as bad. They're setting councils up for failure and creating more division in our communities." Labour's internal divisions on the issue are also coming to light. Angela Rayner's ambitious house-building targets have reportedly caused friction within the party, with some council leaders arguing that the resources needed to meet these goals simply don't exist. Critics within Labour are questioning whether the party is more focused on optics than on offering genuine solutions to the country's housing and asylum crises. Adding to Labour's woes is the growing backlash over the controversial appointment of Sue Gray to the House of Lords. Reform UK's Zia Yusuf has called her the ultimate swamp creature, accusing Labour of hypocrisy for claiming to want to reform the civil service while elevating Gray to a position of power. Gray, who led the infamous Partygate investigation that brought down Boris Johnson, has become a lightning rod for criticism, with many accusing Labour of using her appointment as a way to curry favour with the establishment. In the midst of these political controversies, a viral Christmas parody song mocking Keir Starmer has captured the public's attention. Freezing This Christmas, a satirical take on Labour's winter fuel payment policy, has sparked widespread debate about the party's priorities. The song, which accuses Labour of leaving pensioners to freeze while Starmer stays warm, placed 37th on the festive charts and has raised over £24,000 for Age UK. The creators of the song, Chris Middleton and Dean Ager, say their aim was to highlight the disconnect between Labour's promises and the realities faced by ordinary Britons. The song resonated with people because it tapped into the frustration they feel, Middleton said. Labour has spent too much time talking and not enough time delivering. This song was our way of calling them out. As Labour faces mounting criticism from all sides, the stakes couldn't be higher. The asylum system and housing crisis have become flashpoints in the broader debate over the party's ability to govern effectively. Angela Rayner's house-building promises, the backlash over Sue Gray's appointment, and public dissatisfaction with Labour's handling of key issues have created a perfect storm of political and public pressure. For now, Labour is standing by its proposals, insisting that they represent the only viable path forward. But as councils, residents and opposition parties continue to push back, the party faces a critical test. Can it turn the tide of public opinion and deliver on its promises, or will this crisis mark the beginning of a political unravelling? The coming months will reveal whether Labour can navigate this minefield or whether its ambitious plans will crumble under the weight of public scrutiny and internal divisions. One thing is certain, this is a battle that will shape the future of British politics for years to come. What's your take on Labour's asylum reform plans? Are they the solution Britain needs, or will they make things worse? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding political drama.